up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start our car stories segment. We're just out here driving, testing Joey's 11 EcoBoost F-150. We're bored, we're tired of being in the house. We work with each other side by side, guys, so yes, technically we're supposed to be social distancing. I get it. We're taking precautions, we're being safe. And we're just in our boat. We're not meeting up, or in our truck, sorry. So we're not causing any issues or anything like that. So we figured, hey, let's tell some car stories. So I've got this one story that comes to mind of Joey's that I think you guys are going to get a kick out of. Hey, Joe.
What's up?
You remember that time you got a Chevy pickup that you traded from a Chevy Camaro that the police later knocked on your door and said, hey, sorry about your luck, we got to get your truck back?
Yeah, that was when I was going to do my turbo 4.8 long bed Chevy. So I had a 94 Z28, pretty clean car. I got bored with it. I'm a fat guy in a little car, so got tired of rolling in and out of it.
And hashtag OptiSpark problems.
Hashtag, yeah, OptiSpark. So I decided to get rid of it, so I posted on Craigslist. And in my ad that I posted, I was looking for, 2001 and up Chevy pickup truck that I could build. So a gentleman messages me and says, hey, I've got an 03 Chevy with a 4.8. Got a little bit of rust in the bed, but it's a good running truck.
A little rust.
Yeah.
Wait for that part of the story,
yeah.
Guys.
So I said, yeah, bring it to me. I'd love to take a look at it. He shows up, and I'm like, man, it's not quite worth doing a deal for. And so he decides to sweeten the pot and throw in 2 actual ATVs. And I was like, okay, that makes the deal work.
I forgot that was a part of the deal.
So so I get this truck, go get it registered, legal in my name, insured, full coverage. It's got some rust. One time we were hauling a trailer.
But it's brand new car hauler.
Brand new car hauler. We hit a giant bump, and the bump was so hard that it ripped the reach off of the frame. If that tells you how rusted this truck was in the rear.
It had what kind of car was that, Joe? Was that a 90?
Weren't we hauling the Blazer at that time?
Nope. Prelude.
We were hauling the Prelude to go get the Blazer.
That's right. That was what year was that?
Which one?
The Prelude.
An 88 Prelude SI. Actually was a pretty cool car, to be honest.
Joey's too nice of a guy. Bought that for
my nephew.
Kind of nephew.
Yeah, close enough. But we traded that and got him a little 4-wheel drive Blazer, and that's what he got for his first car. As long as he kept his grades up, which he did.
So he got the Blazer. Prelude on the trailer, bumper ripped off.
In front of the Toyota dealership that I work for. So that was super cool with all my peers seeing this awesome.
At least you weren't working there yet.
That's true.
You might see the master mechanic for Toyota on here from time to time, guys. He is a car guy also. So I used to work at the Toyota dealership also. So I run into the shop and I'm dying laughing. Of course, not my truck, not my trailer, not my car. I was just along for the ride. I didn't care. So I walk into the Toyota dealership, busting up laughing. I'm like, hey, BC, what's up? I said, I need your help. Bring a jack and the keys to your truck. And of course, he looks at me with a blank look on his face. It was like, I'm working. Where do you want me to go? And I said, oh, just outside. I said, did you hear that noise? And he's like, yeah, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, well, come look. I'll show you what it was. So we run outside, to our dismay, or well, not to our dismay, to Joey's dismay. He was sitting at the back of the truck, pondering what he was going to do to try and get all of this rectified so that we could continue to head to, I believe we went to Rolla, didn't we? Go to Rolla? Or
No.
We went that way. Where did we go?
St. James? Maybe?
Something like that. Still same area.
Yeah.
apparently that's going to be our thing. Rolla area-ish. I don't know. We'll see. So, me and Brandon walk out of the dealership dying laughing and looking at this. And I wish we had a picture. This was long before we decided YouTube might be a thing for us. And so Brandon grabs the jack in his truck and we get it all lifted up, and then we take the long bed
back to my house,
and we grab Mike's
diesel,
and then we go back and we get the trailer and we carry on with the whole thing.
So I had this truck for probably 6 months.
For a while.
Enough that like I did, a lot of maintenance stuff on it. I put a new bed on it, EGR, replaced all that stuff on it, bought a big ass turbo, was moving along with the plans on it pretty well. And then my wife, she works for the state, and I was actually letting a buddy of mine borrow the truck because he had just moved back from the military, and hold on, got a phone call.
Hold that thought, guys. All right, sorry about that business call.
Yep, computer repair.
So you were letting a buddy of yours borrow?
Yeah, I was letting my buddy Jason Hobbs borrow the truck. He had it for probably a week, and my wife calls me because a detective from the police department calls her and says, "Hey, do you know who drives the blue truck with the flames down the side?" Not knowing that it was actually me. And Holly's like, "Yeah, actually, my husband drives that truck. That's his." And they're like, "Well, it's stolen." And of course, my wife, working for the state, was like, "What the hell did my stupid husband do?" And so she calls me and says, "Hey, the police have to come get the truck." And then, of course, I'm like, over my dead body because I've already put a bunch of money in this truck. So they show up. I call my buddy Jason and say, "Hey, I need you to bring me the truck. Apparently the truck I was letting you borrow is stolen." So he brings it to my work, and the cops show up and they tell me what had happened. So apparently the guy that I got it from had traded a stolen vehicle for this truck, and then traded me before he ever titled it in his name. It was just signed by the other person, which they didn't fill out the title properly. So always get an ID, guys, when you're trading or swapping cars, and make sure the title's in the correct person's name, because we accidentally jumped the title and didn't know it, which is illegal, which we did not know that it was that, so obviously we didn't get in any trouble. But so I had a truck that registered in my name, signed by a different guy, and I had to give the truck up. I had to give the truck back to the original owner because it was sold by deceit. So I was basically left without a car, well, without a toy. So my 4th gen Camaro was just in the wind, and then of course the police were like, "Well, if we find it, we'll let you know." And I'm like, that car's already at the drag strip or in pieces or something. So another 6 months or so goes by, and I've given up hope. In fact, I had bought another car and forgot all about it. In fact, I bought my black short bed and forgot about this Camaro until Detective Neuschwander calls me and says, "Hey, I don't want to get your hopes up, but I think we found your Camaro." He's like, "Give me an hour and I'll call you back." So he calls me back, and sure enough, that guy had sold it to a young lady who had just put brand new tires on it, had a full tune-up done, and did a bunch of work to the Camaro as well, and went to go register it, and when she was registered, it flagged in the system that it was stolen, and that the police contacted her and went and picked up my Camaro, and it was in Arnold, Missouri, which is up around St. Louis.
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
North.
So, who went with me on that? Did you go with me on that? Or was it Matt?
That was Matt.
So me and my buddy Matt Oakes take, I don't even remember what the hell we took at this point. I think we took his truck. I don't know. We took one of the million vehicles, And I called the place and said, hey, can I come get this weekend? And they're like, yeah, but it's $200 a day to store it. So obviously they were trying to steal the car. And so I was like, okay, well then I'll come get it today. Is anyone there? Well, after hours you have to contact the owner and they'll meet you, blah, blah, blah. So this was, I got off work at 5:30, went to my house, changed, got in the truck, fueled it. And so we didn't get up there until, 9 o'clock at night. I have no idea if this Camaro runs. We didn't have a trailer. Had no idea what we were going to do. So we get there, go to the guy's place where we're supposed to meet us. He doesn't show up. Call him. He meets us at another place. He has the Camaro locked up inside. Lets us get it out. And I fired up. It runs great. We make it probably 30 miles or so, and it starts to get warm on me. It turns out that I don't know if you know anything about Camaros, but the reservoir for the overflow container is underneath the battery box. All of them leak. It doesn't matter. Eventually it's going to leak. If you buy one, eventually it's going to leak. They're just horrible design. So we found a gas station at like 11 o'clock at night. It was closed, but luckily they had a water hose, and we were able to fill up a couple of water jugs that we found in the car and basically limp the Camaro home. And I kept the Camaro for probably a month after that. It was dead to me pretty much. So I kept it and then traded for a couple of vehicles and gave it to one of my wife's siblings for them something to drive. But that is the story of a stolen Chevy truck and a recovery of a 4th gen Camaro. So once again, always remember, get their ID, and if they don't want to show you their ID, they're doing something shady. So watch yourselves out there.
All right, guys. This is just going to be the start of another segment. We've got plenty of car stories. We'll come up with a random one the next time we're driving around and got a few minutes before we're going to wherever.
Next one is going to be how I poured my heart and soul into an LT1 88 Camaro, building it, and got beat so bad by Robert Subaru that I sold it the next weekend. That will be the next story.
Next story. You heard it here. All right, guys. We're going to go for now. Again, thank you for watching. Thanks for being a part of our journey. You guys stay safe out there, and we'll see you the next time. Peace.